There's one where it's called Jesus Comforts the Women of Jerusalem, and this is from the literature where he's facing his own death, and he looks to these women and says something kind of foreshadowing the oncoming of the increase of empire. But what's so interesting to me is that in the midst of his own pain, he is also able to see other people. And I've often noticed in myself when I'm in terrible pain that the focus of my imagination, the aperture closes. And what does it mean to remember other people are living too? Other people are having beautiful days today, or terrible days today, or other things. And not by way of doing that to deny whatever I'm going through, but to find a way to be a citizen in the world and to go, this is a world where all kinds of things are happening all at the same time, and it's brutal. And somehow being alive to that might help to ground me. I don't do that as a way of getting over grief or pushing through it, though none of those ideas have any interest to me. But it is simply a way to be grounded into going, this is what's happening. What's happening right now is I'm having a difficult day. This other person here looks like they're going to get married. This other person here is probably worried about if they got good results in their examinations. This other person, yeah, and to just kind of go, somebody here is bored. Somebody here is, checking on an app for a date. And all of these things are happening right at the same time. Somebody else is planning for war. Somebody else is planning a funeral.
Mm.
And so I want to be consciously a citizen in that world, because it just opens my eyes, I think, when one of the things that grief lies to you about is to say there's no point having your eyes open. Just close your eyes and forget it forever. And that's where I think I understand, by having been unfortunately subject to grief by unfortunately too many people who've died by suicide. I understand the lies that thinking says to them. And one of the things that's so true is that help can help. And
Mm.
especially when you think that help is beyond you, or that nobody will be there to help, that the people who love you will be shocked, and that the people who don't know you don't care. Neither of those things are the final way of thinking about it. The people who love you will be shocked by your death, and they would much rather have been shocked by realizing how painful things were, for you to give them a chance to help, if they could, or give you a chance to find help with their support. And there are all kinds of people who don't know you who would very happily help too at the end of a phone line. And all of that interests me to try to figure out, what does it mean to be a citizen in this place, and how can we speak? And that's what interests me in terms of the Stations of the Cross, that they are in many ways a meditation on life, especially when life is the opposite of what you would hope it to be.
Mm. Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks, Patrick.
I wrote a response poem after, I'd been translating these poems from the 1700s in Ireland, that were, some of which were prayers to your own death, or prayers about your own death, I suppose, to be more accurate. Um, and then I wrote a response poem called How to Be Alone, which I'd like to read.
Please.
How to Be Alone. It all begins with knowing nothing lasts forever, so you might as well start packing now. In the meantime, practice being alive. There will be a party where you'll feel like nobody's paying you attention. And there will be a party where attention's all you'll get. What you need to do is to remember to talk to yourself between these parties. And again, there will be a day, a decade, where you won't fit in with your body, even though you're in the only body you're in. You need to control your habit of forgetting to breathe. Remember when you were younger and you practiced kissing on your arm? You were onto something then. Sometimes harm knows its own healing. Comfort knows its own intelligence. Kindness too. It needs no reason. There is a you telling you another story of you. Listen to her. Where do you feel anxiety in your body? The chest? The fist? The dream before waking? The head that feels like it's at the top of the swing? Or the clutch of gut like falling and falling and falling and falling? It knows something. You're dying. Try to stay alive. For now, touch yourself. I'm serious. Touch yourself. Take your hand and place your hand someplace upon your body and listen to the community of madness that you are. You are such an interesting conversation. You belong here.